Hey, Joe, I just want to say thank you for understanding the assignment. I'm going through these and I'm like, wow, people really don't understand what those 4 shots are supposed to be. So you've got them. You had your still life, here's your shot demonstrating his vocation, and here's your environmental portrait, and then here's your long shot. Yay, thank you. Very good. And so you said that you struggled a little bit with lighting. However, what I want to do is give you some big kudos for actually taking your lights with you to go do your photo shoot and using them, because it's challenging. It's really difficult. And I'm aware of this office because I think you showed us this office once before, or an office very much like it in one of your other shoots. And so I get how tiny it is, and you really challenged yourself with this, trying to get those lights in there and do some controlled lighting with your equipment. So that's fantastic. It looks like this one you ended up shooting with overhead light because of the dark shadows underneath him. I could totally be wrong about that, but that's what it looks like. Oh, maybe not. No, because you've got that up so high that, yeah, it's probably bouncing back down from the ceiling back down onto him because the ceiling's got white tile on it. So I think that's pretty good. I think the lighting in this shot is actually pretty good. This makes sense because it's kind of saturating all of the colors and making it feel warm. So we get the sense that even though like he's in his office and he's working hard, it's actually a warm and welcoming place, which is fantastic. And then here's the papers that he's so proud of. When you're shooting stuff like this, like still lifes like this, that you really just want to emphasize like the legality and the importance of the stuff in front of you, you want to always kind of make sure that you use a light that really emphasizes that. So here you're using pretty hard light. We can see that there's a hard cast shadow here. So, in my opinion, having done years of product photography, I probably would have gone with a softer light and a cooler white balance. But, you just kind of have to look at a lot of this stuff to get that sense. But I think your arrangement of the still life here is pretty good, because I get that you had to put that all together. And then what I would have done was put the lights directly above it and very close to it, so that I had a huge light source relative to my subjects, and I would have cast very soft shadows. And that's what I would have been going for, but I don't know if that was even possible. So the last 2 images are pretty successful. This, I think with this fellow, I get the feeling that what you really wanted was a very even light. You wanted like a kind of high key light, maybe a little bit closer, and an image that was cropped perhaps a little bit closer. So we're still getting, the context in the background, but a different sort of light, because it feels like this is trying to be high key, but there's just sort of a lack here. So what would have worked in this case, because you've got your light on this side, what would have worked really well in such a tight space is to put as close as you possibly could on this side a reflector. So if you couldn't fit a light in there, a reflector would have been the thing to squeeze in there. Yeah, because that's a tight space. So you just would have put a reflector right here, and then you could have had more of a high key image. Because right now in that image, you've got, it's like about 1 to 2, 1 to 3. It's starting to have a pretty high ratio, so that's how you could have resolved that. And it would have bounced more light back into there, which could have been interesting too. Or maybe you would have wanted to flag it. But I see where you're headed with this, and I think it was the right direction to head. It just takes more practice with those lights. And then there's your long shot. We've seen this church before in different lighting. It's okay. It makes sense because these kind of feel like they were shot on a sunny day. So the sunny day church outside makes sense. The composition's okay. It's okay. That's fine. Let's see if you have anything else that would have been a little bit more telling in your long shot. Well, hey, for instance, I think that's a shoot into, like, that's standing outside of his office looking in, maybe, I don't know. I love the series of him on the chalkboard, honestly. I think that there's a lot there. Like, this could have been a great portrait, because look here, we get a sense of him and his investment in his activities. He's an invested, serious guy. And you're saying, he's also kind of a wackadoodle too, but he's a man with a purpose, and that's what we see here. So this might have been a much more powerful portrait, environmental portrait, than what you ultimately chose us. You gave something that was just, straightforward, smile in front of the camera, whereas something like this, where we're getting a full sense of him and his identity. There's lots of visual emphasis on him because he's surrounded by white, but there's a little bit of context back there, which leads us to the environmental portrait. This could have been a lot more powerful to include instead, I think. And what I was looking for was a better long shot. I don't think I'm going to find one. No, because you just have the church over and over. So that's, that is what it is. So I think that there's a lot of potential embedded in these context sheets. What you ended up choosing was perhaps not your best. This image is not your best portrait. This is a fine image. This is good. This explains his vocation clearly, and this is a good still life. But mostly, I want to give you kudos for understanding what was required, fulfilling those shots. You did it. Thank you. And then also taking your lights with you on your shoot and really challenging yourself and working with them, because that's the only way you're going to learn how to use them. So keep on doing that. Really excellent, excellent job putting a challenge in front of yourself and getting this person to work with you and really help you out with this. Because I have to say that the light quality here in this image is so much better than what I saw when you were trying to shoot that small office earlier in the class. Like, there's a big improvement here. So good job. Thank you, Joe.